Hello all and welcome back to High Ridge Farm with me, the Walrus. We're in our last few days after the Feast of the Winter Star of Year 3. And it looks like the first of my jade is ready. That's fantastic. It's way faster than I was expecting. So, like fire quartz, it looks like it has a nice high cycle rate, which is good. That's going to mean I'll theoretically be able to generate a lot of it, which will allow me to buy lots of staircases going forward, which is always good. So, I now have to try to figure out what I'm going to do with the next couple of days. Now, considering what I am aware that I want to purchase from the island trader requires a lot of taro root, I'm going to try and plant a bunch of taro root in the next couple of days. And what I'm going to need to do is also try and be vaguely clever, because I'm going to use the speed growing fertilizer on it, because I don't really care about its quality since it's just going straight into the hands of the trader. I don't really care otherwise. So this could be an important and useful thing that I need to consider, is how am I going to get that and how am I going to sort that out. So let's see what we can essentially accomplish with that today. But for now, we've got a couple of other things we're just going to go through and have a look at all of the resource, so the preserve jars, the pickling, you know, the important stuff. It's probably the best way of putting it, isn't it? This is the important stuff that we need to be dealing with. And yeah, well, we've got a little bit. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of available pickles and preserves that need to be organized. That's fantastic stuff. So we're going to have to just put in a bunch of this gubbins and, well, hope for the best, really. So let's see what we can do. This is where I'm sort of umming and ahhing a little bit, because I'm trying to figure out what's going to be the best plan of action for distributing materials here. Because again, I want to be sensible about what I put and where I put it. Because, unsurprisingly enough, I've got lots of useful resources, and some of them are just taking up space. So let's kind of sort this nonsense out. Okay, so we're going to put some apples in. We're going to make some apple jam. Apple preserves are always nice. And, well, got a mixture of other pickle things. Be careful, be careful, be careful. Yeah, again, I'm trying to be sensible and careful, because knowing me, I am going to put a bomb down, and I really don't want to accidentally do that, because that would be dumb. Like, to the levels of catastrophically dumb, and totally and utterly within something that I would be likely to do, because I'm an idiot. And I know that I am, so it is a terrible problem when you know you're a moron, and you have to just go, yep, I'm going to do something real stupid right about now. But anyway, so let's make some strawberry preserves. Nah, hold on to this. We've got use some of the strawberries, because I think I'm going to need some of the strawberries come the new year, for getting some strawberry seeds out from them. Again, I'm very curious to see what's going to be important and useful in the 1.6 update that is going to be coming out very soon now. As yet, we don't have an exact release date, and I think actually maybe I should do a video actually all about what we kind of know about it so far, because that probably wouldn't be a bad thing to talk about. So I do need to be aware of what we know and what can we say for certain about it. Not much at the moment, sadly. But hey, it's better than not being able to say anything at all. Otherwise, we've got, so that's the preserves room done. Look at all these jams and jellies. I mean, it must be quite an interesting thing. Like, imagine getting like all these labels from High Ridge Farm of different jams, preserves, and Pierre's shop. I mean, if I was doing this, like, when I ship out the vegetables, I'd want to wrap them up so that they're very clearly mine, and Pierre can't pretend that he does it. That's the thing, is like, Willy at least has the integrity enough to say, no, I bought it from the walrus, and not that he'd caught it. Because Willy is a lovely and fantastic character, whereas Pierre is... Well, Pierre is Pierre. It's probably the best way of putting it. Pierre is an annoying, awful human being, and he needs to stop his misbehaviour, because his general miscreancy is very annoying. Now, I'm going to put a little bit of the coffee seeds in here for now, because I am going to need them. I'm going to use a lot of them in the main house for, of course, turning into actual coffee. But for now, it's going to be an easy thing to sort of work out. Right, so we've got lots of eggs there, which is lovely. We're going to pop those in to make mayonnaise. And as I mentioned, once the golden chick is fully grown up, I'm probably going to put golden eggs, if that's what they lay. I mean, assuming they lay golden eggs, into hatch another one at least before I start trying to turn that into mayonnaise. I don't know if you get a special better mayonnaise from them. Genuinely have no idea. I'm genuinely curious to see what you actually get and gather from them. So it'll be interesting. It's probably the best way of putting it for me. Like, I want to know. So we are going to find out sooner rather than later. So fingers crossed it's something good. But for now, we've got to hold off on any assumptions of knowledge or understanding, because just no idea at this point. I don't want to sell my coffee. Right, sell that, sell this. Whoop. Let's teleport back up to the farm house itself. It's just like teleport back up to the farm. I'm on the farm. It's the farmhouse that I'm going back to. Ooh. Things and stuff. Okay. What else can we organise here today? Well, we've got lots of other gubbins. We've got some of the more coffee there. Now, I'm growing that bottom row in the growing shed of coffee for just constant, hopeful caffeination. Because, yeah, I want to be caffeinated, please. It's high on my list of priorities is to be always caffeinated for increased speed. And as I mentioned previously, it's a weird thing to sort of say that, oh yeah, I'm just so used to being able to move around at this sort of speed because of it. So I feel odd that I'm not moving that fast a lot of the time. It's kind of annoying. But hey, we live. Okay, so we're going to just smash open a few boxes whilst we're here. I'm just going to hunt down the last few of the grubs that we need to do for Clint's quest for us. There's a way down. That's good. Okay, so what other things we got? Oh, so we've got some more bugs over there, so they're going to have to get a good stab in. I mean, it's not super difficult exactly to give them a good stab in, is it? Okay, that one's pupating, so that's just going to be annoying. Well, they've got flattened. And what other things can we sort out whilst we're running around here? Well, I don't think when they're... Okay, so we've got 27 killed out of 50, so we still need to kill another 23. Not impossible to do. I'm just kind of curious as to whether the... I nearly wanted to say evolved form, it's not a Pokemon. Whether the pupated form actually does give you a bonus and benefit, and counts towards the grubs, or if it doesn't count at all, which is more of what I'm expecting. Is it that it doesn't count at all in any way, shape or form, which I think would kind of make more sense. Oh, an artifact trove, that's kind of good. And some rice shoots. I mean... The rice shoots are one of those interesting crops, because if you purchase them, you lose money on them. Because they are just not financially that good for you. Really, in all honesty, they are not good. they hurt you for you wanting them. So if you purchase them, yes, you lose money. So you're not really hurting yourself in a particularly negative way, but you're hurting your bank balance. So that's a crop that you should always avoid purchasing. But the thing is, you get so many of them just fighting your way through stuff as you do in the mines. So they're a common thing to find. The other big thing with them, though, is there's not much that you can do with them. You can turn them into rice, like you can mill the rice and turn it into rice flour, but it's only used in a couple of recipes. So I say it's not really that you've milled it into rice flour. It's more that you've done something with it and you can actually just use it. But again, it's not a big thing, really. Which seems strange that it's not really used for much. But hey, what am I to say? I didn't write the code for the game and the recipes that are looked into on this. And that's perfectly fine because, that's stuff and things and hoojima flips. But it doesn't really matter. Okay. So we've got another floor like this. That's fine. Not really much else to say on these sorts of floors, sadly. They're just full of things. Okay, I know it's really articulate, but the thing is, when it's a mostly rocky floor like this, there's not likely to be much. Well, you're not going to find any of the bugs there. I mean, that's definitely a given, which is a shame because that's what I'm after while I'm roaming around down here. But that's the thing is, you're not going to find much else other than that, are you? So it's just how it goes. So let's have a look and see. We're going to flatten these bugs here. I'm going to kill this one. I'm going to just get rid of that thing. Just die, you horrible grub. Please go away and die. I have things that I need to do, and dealing with you is not high on my list of things to kill. Anyway, goodness gracious. What should I chuck away? Let's chuck away some coffee seeds, because I'm after the jade really there, because I want to use it for staircases. I've still got a couple more to go, so we're getting there. I mean, hopefully I'll have it finished by the end of the day. I don't think it's going to take that long, as a general rule of thumb. Okay, so we're going to flatten these two. Again, getting some more very useful resources from them, in that I am gathering... oh, what's the word I'm looking for? You know when you just have those catastrophic brain farts, and you go, yep, words. There we go, so I've killed all the grubs now. Fantastic stuff. Now, let's just leave the mine, because I don't need to worry about anything else here. I don't care, in all honesty. I don't know why I would care. So, let's get the hell out of here. Oh goodness, we'll dump all that on those. That's fine. Is there anything else that we need to sort out today? I think that's the big question, isn't it? Well, we've still got a bit of time, because it's only 7:20. So what else could I do with the remainder of the day? That is the question. What is the answer? So I'm going to have a try and think. What would be a good plan of action to do for the rest of today? Okay, we've got a snow yam there. So let's grab that. We're going to grab the crocuses as well. Now, they are a plant that I've not had a huge amount of luck in keeping alive. I'm not one with the greatest of green thumbs, is probably the best way of putting it. I have a desire to grow things, and I very much want to, and I want to be better at my horticultural skills. I can do words good, yes. But a lot of the time I do end up just screwing up, because I go, I haven't planted that properly, or that hasn't gone as well as I'd hoped, which is a shame. And it does happen sometimes, where I just don't end up planting something in the ground and having as much luck. So the small plants that I have growing in my garden at the moment are very little things. I've got some daffodils that are coming through because it's that time of year where the daffodils will come into season again. And one of the things I do need to replace is a couple of the lavender bushes in my front garden. Now, lavender is one of those ones that I like planting and having in the garden because it has... I'm sure it has sort of an association with a lot of people for older women specifically. It was something that I always remember my grandmother having in her garden, and so it's always that pleasant memory of my grandmother. And it's also one of the plants that I know is very popular with the bees in my garden. And I am a big sucker. I love bees. I think they're fantastic. And I want them to be happy and thriving and doing well. Because that's, I think, an important... They are a very important thing. They're so important. And should be given as much assistance as we can. And yes, bees, they're lovely. All the power to the bees. Give the bees power. That's what we need. So yes, other silliness aside there. So bees are great. And yeah. Anyway, so back here on Ginger Island, we have a couple of other things that we do kind of need to sort out as well today. One of them is going to be having a quick look at the dig site, because I want to smash my way through a bunch of the bone deposit rocks, because I don't have as much bone fragment in my... Well, I don't have as many bone fragments in my monster box as I think I'm going to need. I have a few, but I don't think I need... I need like a... I want to have a full stack of them. That's like a... That's my logic, at least, on that. So I'm just going to quickly cut this tree. Helps if I can aim at the tree, doesn't it? No, that would be good. And we'll put a bomb there. We will quickly grab that up and take a bit of damage. That's fine. Don't really mind so much. Okay. Okay, so the mushrooms here will be quite a useful thing I can quickly sell, which is always good. Never a bad thing to have lots of resources that you can sell in a positive and useful manner. Okay, Mr. Island Trader, I will see you soon enough with your selection of taro root, because I want the luau skirt and the other thing that you can sell, which is good. And that's kind of a big thing, really. I think I look at it in that it's a good idea to make sure that you're able to have a generally positive outcome from all of your shenanigans. Again, as silly as that'll sound, it's very important for me to make sure I have a decent amount of silly shenaniganry that I can actually do and get away with. So yeah, that's going to be a thing. Now, what else can we do here? Reorganize that. So I've got lots of sap now, which was genuinely the opposite of what I was having previously. Was that I didn't have enough sap because the stuff was nearly impossible for me to find on a decent regular basis. Now that I've got that kind of cracked down by having the mahogany trees, constantly throwing it out and giving that to me, it's made my life significantly easier. And I think that's a consideration that you should actually make, is I didn't think about how useful that would actually be to me. And I feel very stupid in some ways, because I've gone, well, actually, I could have done better earlier. And I think that's a sort of a thing for me, is this has been a learning experience, looking back through and going, oh, actually, I could have done this better, or this would have worked out well for me. But for some, like, considering I haven't really sat down and planned all of this, I think it's done reasonably well. We've managed to achieve perfection in 3 years. I've not been trying to follow any like hardcore speedrunning guides. I've done quite well. Oh, ooh, I don't know, Haley. Yeah, okay, you can have a kiss before I go. Hello, child with cat head. That is... I mean, I don't really know how to describe it. I just am aware that I have very odd children. I mean, yes, I did put the hat on them, but I'd still stand by my children are a bit odd. mean, to be fair, they've got me for a father, so they're definitely a bit odd. There's no other way about it. If you've got me as your father, you know you're going to be a bit strange. Sorry, any children out there. Anywho. Righty, so we've got a couple of other things that we need to try and achieve today, which is going to be cooking some coffee, which it seems a bit strange because I have to go through the two-step process of make the coffee, then cook it to be espresso, which is a bit strange. Is probably the understatement of the century on that one. Oh my goodness, all the ancient fruits ready. So this is a nice harvest we have here, which is lovely. I'm never going to be upset about a good harvest of ancient fruit and all of the other lovely fruiting trees, which is lovely, because that's just going to be more resources to put away and use effectively. And I think that's a good thing to be looking at, is actually like how effectively can we use all of what we're getting and what we're actually finding. I mean, no other way about it really. It's fantastically helpful. So for now, however, we are going to have a think about what other stuff can we kind of achieve here today, because I mean, it's Saturday. There's got to be some opportunity to actually do something useful. I think I'm going to have to go to Ginger Island again and try and sort out what we've got going on over there at least. Otherwise, it's just honestly trying to think a bit about what other stuff can we do. Because there are a few other general miscellanea things that we can do today, but it's just making sure what would actually work well for us. What's a sensible thing for us to do today? You know what? I don't know what happens if you take your spouse to the cinema. I wonder if that creates a separate special dialogue. I mean, my logic would dictate that it probably should. It would be very sweet if it does. And, yeah. I'm genuinely curious on this one, because it'd be quite nice. Now, I've grabbed all of the winter crops here, and I'm going to sell the crocuses straight away. I know that crystal fruit can be turned into jams and preserves and wines, and as I mentioned previously in an older video, I say not that old though, to be fair, another video, that I really like the idea of making crystal fruit wine, just because of an association in my head. But the snow yams and winter roots, I wonder if you can do anything with them. I'm going to test it. I'm going to put them in the preserves area, and I'll hold on to them for now as a maybe that could be useful idea. Okay, so we've still got a little bit of stuff to organise here. What other stuff can we sort out today? Well, we've got lots of coffee, which is good. And now the coffee beans I'm going to end up moving into a more useful location. So I'm going to end up trundling the coffee beans into the house at some point. But what and when? It's a very good question. Because, yeah, I think it's very important for me to have lots of coffee growing. So I've got those 2 base rows there. I'm going to have the next 2 rows up, I think, are going to be tea plants. After that, though, I'm not sure. So I'm going to have a good think about that. And hopefully I can figure out something that will be good. Okay, so we've got lots of the ancient fruit. So, like, looking at that, we've got... I hadn't realised how much ancient fruit is actually growing in there. Because that's, what, a good 180 crops in there. That's not bad, as a thing sort of goes. I hadn't actually appreciated how many are growing in there. So that's kind of cool. So I know I've got 4 spots in the greenhouse that are being used for sprinklers. So does that mean that there are 184? Oh no, I grabbed some out of a chest, didn't I? Don't count my chickens before they hatch. Good old Walrus doing his walrus maths. Not something to be replicated, believe me. You're not going to get a GCSE in Walrus Mathematics, and I wouldn't highly recommend it, because generally speaking, it's going to be full of I'm being a moron, and yeah, there's nothing else really on that one, is it? I'm just being a moron. No ifs and or buts about it, just durr. You can hear the dial-up tone in my brain a lot of the time, I swear. You just ask me a question and all you can hear is the dial-up tone from old internet connections. And my God, do I not miss those. Because those godforsaken things were so awful. Just listening to them just was painful. And it's making you realise, like, I really wish this was better. It did genuinely make me quite sad, really, realising how naff the internet connection was at the time. I mean, with hindsight now, because of course at the time it was fantastic stuff, because of course why would it not be? Look at this, we've got the internet. It's amazing. But now I feel horribly deprived if I don't have a connection. Now, although that does pose the interesting quandary, would you rather have no internet or slow internet? I think people would generally choose no internet over slow, because slow internet, I think, can make people kill. Genuinely, I'm of the opinion that people will murder others if their internet connection is that bad. So, madness aside there. So we're going to make some more cheeses. That's going to be lovely. We've got the 2 ostrich eggs there. So, ostrich eggs, okay, that's another 20 mayonnaise, which is good. And the next question really comes, what do I want to do with the other eggs? I mean, ostrich eggs, I think I'm not going to have another ostrich for now. I'll hold off for the time being. I might end up having another ostrich, but right now I'm not sure, because I've got some ideas for having a little bit of space, because I don't know about other stuff that's going to come out. And as I've mentioned previously, I think I should probably do a little video of what's actually coming with 1.6. What do we know? What's confirmed? Blah, blah, blah. Because it's a kind of an important thing, really, for all of us Stardew Valley players. It's a big, big thing. Curious Ape's doing something fantastic, and hey, we're looking forward to it. And I think that is something that can be quite proudly said, that like we're really excited for it, and I think rightly so, because it's a great game, and it's a game I will always tell people about and proclaim madly that yes, you should have it. If you've got the chance, play it, enjoy it, because you probably will. Okay, so we've got actually, you know what, I can make the deluxe speed grow with oak resin and coral. But the hyperspeed grow, I could totally make a bunch of that. You know, let's make 100 of this to really ramp up the speed at which we actually make this stuff. I mean, a 33% increase of grow speed. And if I just have land that is not really being used for any other resource, such as the right next to the water, and plant 100 taro root with an increased grow speed, with no watering required, I mean, we're kind of golden at that point, aren't we? There's no ifs and or buts on it. We've got, like, it's just done. We don't have to worry. It's absolutely fantastic. That's great. So yeah, I guess that's the plan there, isn't it? Well, we're definitely heading back over to Ginger Island then. No ifs and or buts about it. We're going back there. But for now, let's smelt a bunch of the radioactive ore that we've got lying around, because that's probably a good idea. Because I'm going to need it. And the other question is, do I need it as the ore or do I need it as the bars? But smelting a bunch more of the bars isn't a bad thing, because they're going to be useful for other construction projects. So we're going to do that. And that's fine and dandy, which is good and all. But what's the next thing that I want to do? That is the big question. The big quandary. The big So let's have a think. What's a good thing to sort of work on now? Ooh, I don't know. Well, we've got lots of more sap there. That's fine and all. That's lovely. I mean, not really the be-all and end-all, but, you know, it's nice to have it. Okay, blueberries. Again, that's going to be good for pickles, preserves, and jams. Not really much otherwise, I'm going to be honest. Because, yes, it is useful. But right now, I'm not sure. And again, I know that sounds very silly, but it's the I'm not sure what's going to be the most useful thing for me to organise and actually do. Gonna have to have a little bit more of a think, I think, on that one. But for now, we've got a general idea of what would work out well, I guess. So, as you can see, I'm sort of making a lot of the land near the water front along here is going to be that's going to be the speed grow saturated taro root. So I'm going to plant the taro roots down first to make sure that it is all pre-watered, which looks like it is. That's fantastic. And then we're just going to slap down the 33% speed boost speed grow. Again, because why would I not? The increased speed of this is just going to make my life so much easier. I mean, at no point am I going to be like, oh, I really wish I'd not planted that. It's handy. We've got it, and that's the thing. We need it. We need it now, and we have stuff to do, and we want it done. And I think that's the easiest way of putting it. Is we've got lots of things that we can try and figure out what's going to be the best plan of action on this lot, and it's just going to be planting it all down. So I'm going to put some on the opposite side of the river as well. And I think that's going to be a reasonably sensible thing to kind of look at doing. Because when I look at what's available on that side, again, it's just land. There's not much else that I can really honestly say that's there. It's a bit dull when I actually say it like that, but there's not much else that I can really, in all honesty, say that's there that I could use it for. And yeah, I'm going to have to do that. Just work my way through it all, I guess. And that's fine. I'm perfectly content with that as a rule of thumb. It's not a biggie. And it does not like it takes much time to actually get it, is it? Does it? Is it, sorry. Does it? There's not really much else that I need to worry about or fret about. So we're going to grow all of this and increase its growth speed because, again, that's really what we're trying to do here is just get things done as quickly as is physically possible. And I'm going to plant it around these trees because I believe that now that they're fully grown, if you plant crops around them, I don't think it makes a difference to them. I mean, we'll find out. It's not the end of the world if I can't get a mango once a day from that one or two trees because there happens to be some taro root just lying around at its base. I'll live. It's not the end of the world. I mean, there's not really much else I can say about it, is there? There's not really anything I have to worry about. I'm not concerned about it in any way, shape, or form, am I? But yes, growing all of that is good. And what other stuff have we got that we could kind of sort out here? That is the big question, isn't it? Well, that's the big Because I've got a couple of other ideas for stuff that I want to do with the farm. And I think going forward, there's going to probably be a lot more weird and wonderful that I could do. With the farm and with Ginger Island. Now, of course, as I've mentioned previously, I'm going to wait a little bit to see what we can do moving forwards with what happens in-game. For now, we've got our idea of how we're going to do stuff, and, well, we'll just wait and see, I guess. Okay, let's teleport back up to the top of the farmhouse itself. What other stuff do we need to sort out? Now, I haven't had a chance to run my experiments with the fishing ponds, and I think that's something I will do in another video. More like information about fishing ponds as a thing. I think that'll probably be a good sort of thing to work about and actually figure out what works well. Because fishing ponds are one of those useful ones, and I just need to figure out what can I actually do with them. And so on and so forth. Okay, anything else that I can do right now? Well, I'm not sure if there is, actually, honestly. Well, I'm going to put the bombs over here. Now, I've got a little bit of time, and I'm going to go and hit up the Skull Caverns just for a little bit. I've got an idea. It might not be a particularly good idea, but it's an idea is really the best way of putting it. I've got some idea, and we'll see how well it goes. So I'm going to cut down these trees, and you can see I'm grabbing a lot of solar power batteries, which is good, because of course they're going to be something that I'm probably going to need a fair few of later on. Not sure right now of how many I'm going to actively need, but they are a constant for me that I need. So yeah, we'll figure that one out. And R is generally how I'm sort of umming and ahhing at the moment. So I've got all of these horrible creatures tonight, and now again I'm sort of testing just how quickly can I get further down in the mines. Now it's quite a late time in the day for me to attempt this, so I'm not too concerned about how late it is in the grand scheme of things. It's more the what will this allow me to achieve sort of logic on this. Like, how am I going to do this? How does this work for me? And what does this allow me to do? Because if I look at like the sort of speed at which I can fight stuff, it's, as people have mentioned, that luck is the big driving force in Skull Caves. So that's why I made the Lucky Lunch, because I want to see and test how much of a difference that makes. But I don't want to use it right now because it's a little bit of a moot point considering how late it is in the day. So just again thinking carefully about what's the best plan of action on all of this. And I think that's quite a reasonable sort of approach to be taking here, is calm, collected, have a think sort of process there, which is again probably the most sensible way of dealing with things. And again, I'm trying to gather a few resources while I'm down here. I mean, there's nothing super exciting that I'm not like in desperate need of anything. So it's not like I need stone that much right now. I've got lots of it, so I'm not super concerned about it. I've got a lot of, well, everything. I'm not super concerned. So it's a thing. What other things can we sort out today? I guess that's the big question, isn't it? So we've got a couple more things turning up. Well, I mean, these serpents aren't too much of a worry. I do want to fight more of the hard mode elite serpents, whatever you want to call them, if they have a particular thing. They're dangerous. Dangerous is, I think, their tagline on it. I don't think it's a terrible thing to sort of look at and actually see how easily can I defeat them, and improving my equipment and gear. And one of the things that I am curious about as well is how much of an impact the different combat skills genuinely make. Now, I'm aware that, because what I've chosen to take is the damage dealing and all sorts of stuff like that, so I'm sure there's a more optimal, which is like glitching and cheeking. And because that's the thing, is like if I'm using an exploit, I think that that's wrong. In my opinion, that's not how I want to play. As a rule of thumb, I don't really want to try and exploit a game. I've used exploits to my advantage on particularly challenging games where I've got stuck and then just figured out a way of essentially cheesing the system. But it's not what I go out of my way to try to do. It's not really my jam on that one, at least. Right. So let's sell that. I don't need that. I mean, we're coming up 12:30. It's time to head back home, and we'll just quickly deposit things that we've grabbed out of the my exploration of the Skull Caves into this chest here. And we've got all that radioactive bar there, which is good. I mean, kind of a given that we're going to have lots of radioactive bars there, right? I mean, you'd expect me to have a lot of that right now. It'd be a bit of a weird one if I didn't have all of it available, in honesty. So, yeah, it's kind of a given that would happen. So let's see. What other stuff can we organise? Well, we've done quite well there. I think I'm just going to have to chuck the boot into just for sale because I don't really need the boots so much, really. They're a bit of a, well, not a waste of space, but they're not something that I need, really. Which, I'm quite happy to sort of be openly saying, like, I don't need the dark boots. I've got better ones. But I do know that they are not the best boots in the game because somebody showed me a better one. So I'm curious on that one. I believe they are requires a drop. So it's a chance on of acquiring them, which is not... I'm not saying that's going to make me a little bit more annoyed, but it is a thing that I'm going to have to be a little bit more... I'm going to have to think a bit more carefully about that. Okay, so we're into our final day of the year. So usually this would be the day where I'd be running around like a madman trying to harvest everything that was still up. Well, when it comes to the end of seasons. But of course, we don't have to worry about that, being that it's the winter. And obviously, we've got no crops that are lying around. That's fine. So what other things have we got? So, again, we're getting some more prismatic shards. So, again, I think I'm not too worried about getting prismatic shards. I mean, I've got them, and I've got lots of them as a generation. Ah, thank you, child. I'm glad you're happy with me and my existence. You wouldn't age coffee. I was just trying to think if there's anything else that you'd age. I mean, it's kind of nice that you can age the cheeses. I've never really tried doing it, so I should probably try that at some point. Because, again, of course, it's going to increase the value of it, but I've never done it, have I? So yeah, I should give that a try at some point, shouldn't I? Okay. What other things have we got that we can sort out here today? I mean, that's the question, isn't it? It's just making sure that everything is organised, neat and tidy, and ready to go for the next part of the year. Now, I am aware that this is probably going to be... Obviously, this is the last of the year 3, and of course I'm going to take a little hiatus from playing here on Stardew, on High Ridge Farm, but of course I'm going to be doing all the other bits that are sort of running in the background and doing the other fun stuff going forwards. So don't worry, I'm still going to be doing some fun, silly stuff going forward with this. But for now, though, I'm just trying to figure out if there's anything else I want to do. Now, I do want to try going to the Skull Caves. I'm going to eat the Lucky Lunch. I'm going to drink my ginger ale. Now, the ginger ale I've got gives me a +2 boost rather than a +1 because, of course, I've used the key seasoning. As well as that, I, of course, then have the +4 from the Lucky Lunch. So it's a +6 boost to my luck. Now, as a rule of thumb, I think that should give me a very competitive edge. I think. I mean, I hope. It's probably the better way of putting it. I hope that gives me a decently competitive edge when it comes to dealing with all of the holes and the likelihood of finding them and general frequency of good, useful events that one might obtain whilst delving into Skull Caverns. So I'm genuinely curious to see what we'll get out of it. But that's where I'm aiming to go at the moment. That's going to be my... that's going to be where I head to next. And I hope it works out well. It's probably the best way of putting it. Because, yeah, I've got some ideas. In all honesty. I've got some ideas, and hopefully it goes well. Okay, so we've got all this starfruit wine that needs to be taken out and sold, and again, replenished. So again, that's not a particularly absurd thing to worry about, I don't think. So yeah, we're going to sort that out. That's all kind of hunky-dory on that sort of side there. And yeah, hopefully we can end up doing something vaguely clever here. We're getting all this starfruit wine, so it's good, and I think I might have to then start putting in what else? Well, some pineapple wine, I guess. Have I got anything else that I can... Let's make some mead. I haven't made mead for a while, so let's make some mead. And I've still got another few unused right now, so that needs to change. What am I going to do with the next one, then? And how am I going to do that? Well, you know, we've done well. We've got all that pale ale that we can make if I was feeling so inclined, I guess. I mean, it's not really a big thing for me on that one. Like, pale ale is a meh. I don't really care. Because pale ale's a bit... I'm not going to lie. I'm not a fond fan of a pale ale. It's just... Blech. Not my jam. But then again, beer isn't really my big thing. Wine, though. Hence why, you know, this is a winery, this farm. It's a proper winery and preservery. Because one of the things that a friend of mine who, as I've mentioned previously, is he makes very good mead. And I have a couple of bottles of it still left. Not as much as I have had from him before. But one of the things he's been doing is making fruit meads. So infusing the honey with fruit. And what he's done is he's then taken the fruit pulp and mash almost out of the honey before he then adds the yeast. He then turns it into a marmalade or a jam. So it's a really interesting honeyed fruit, which is then soaked and then turn into a jam as well. So I'm really curious to try some of that. He hasn't let me to have any of that yet, but I think that's a really interesting, different thing to do, and it's genuinely really interests me as a concept. So it's, again, something that I kind of see that I would do here on High Ridge Farm if I had the opportunity to do so. I'd be like, well, we're going to make some fantastic meaty honey preserve. Oh, no, I was trying to figure out a good way of describing it, because it's a honey infused, because he's using the fruit to infuse the honey, but it's a honey infused marmalade or jam. So it's a curious one. I know I'm rambling about it, but it's an interesting thing, and I think that's really would be something that I would be exporting from High Ridge Farm if I had the opportunity to do so. Okay. Anyway, so it is Sunday the 28th. We've still only got a little bit left before the end of the day, and it's 12:40. So I want to head to the desert before it gets too late, because I do really want to try and see how far down into Skull Caves we can actually make it, because I think that's a reasonable goal to have. But I'm just going to double check and see if there's any other... Oh, you want an amethyst Harvey? I mean, that's not beyond the realm of possibility. I mean, I've got one lying around anyway, but I might find some more. Who knows? It's certainly a possibility, and that'll be good. What am I going to try next, I guess? That is the question, isn't it? More than anything. What would be a good idea to try? Okay, so I could buy the movie tickets. You know what? I am going to do that. I'm going to take my wife to the movie theatre, because I think that would be really nice. Just a pleasant treat, almost, and something just lovely to do for her. And yeah, why would I not want to do that? That'd be really cool. I think it'd be just, you know, nice. And I want to do nice things. So, there she is. Here's a movie ticket, my dear. Oh, a date night. Okay, that's really sweet that she actually is like, no, it's going to be a date. That's really cute. Again, I'm going to have to try that with all of the different spousal companions to see what they say about it. Because that's really sweet. I like that. I know, small things, small minds, but hey, I'm allowed to enjoy it. So I'm going to nip on off over to the cinema as well, because I didn't realise that it doesn't actually take up any time in the actual parsing of stuff. It's just like, you have been to the cinema. It takes no time out of your day. It is a thing. You've done it. So that's great, because it just means you just go and do it, which is fantastic. Okay, so we're here. I don't know what's showing, so hopefully it's a movie she likes. That's kind of the next hurdle almost. Right, which of these would she like? I think she'd like the mousse cake. Let's give that a go. It's nice and warm in here. Which is your favourite time to see a movie? Oh, okay. She only has that one thing to say. Fair enough, dear. Okay, so what are we actually watching today? I have no idea. Well, the theatre's starting up. Okay, so what is it? Well, surely there must be like an actual like a list of the movies that you can see during like the season or something. The Zuzu City Express. Is this like Murder on the Orient Express? Except less murder? Or maybe more murder? Do. Okay, so she really likes the cappuccino mousse cake, so that's good. Okay, so it's going to be like a love movie, I think. Like a romantic movie. I mean... And the movie ends before we ever find out. That's a bit of a cop-out. Goodness. Well, I'm going to make a wild stab in the dark and go, I'm going to assume that my wife really enjoyed that. She probably doesn't enjoy me chatting to the other people in the and slamming a hammer into the ground, but... Okay, does she say something? That was very romantic. Okay. I was kind of expecting a little bit more of her being like, yes, that was romantic and adorable and I love you. But... That's a thing. Okay, so let us ride on out to the farm. We're going to teleport back, and then we're going to head on over to the desert. It's only, goodness, 20 to 4, so we've still got plenty of time in the day to do things, which is great. And we've got our ginger ale. I'm going to grab that. We're going to swig that one down as well. I think quite reasonably so. Because, of course, we're going to need to find out what other things can we do whilst we're roaming around through here. I mean, it's 4 o'clock now, so it's not like it's not as early as I could be coming out here, but I'm curious to see if the +6 luck boost makes as big of an impact as I'm kind of hoping. Because I do genuinely hope it does make a big impact for me. So we're gonna see how much of an impact it does actually make. So gonna slap these slimes out of the way because they're in the way and they need to go away. It's just how this works, I'm afraid. Time to die, slime. Time to die. Is there anything else that we can sort of like... Well, I don't need these warp totems. I should probably get rid of those at some point. Detonate those rocks, so we've got a way down. I'm going to try and go down as quickly as possible. Ah, curses. See, this is why I need to use the jade to make to gather the staircases, because I think if I can come into the cave, like the mines like this, or the skull caves, with a... maybe not a full stack, but like 50 of them? I mean, that's like a good amount to bring with you, right? I think. Like, genuinely, I think that's a good amount of staircases to bring with you when doing this sort of madness. So, yeah, I kind of hope that that's a good idea. I know that sounds a bit counterintuitive in some ways, but hopefully that's a useful and good manner to try and figure out everything, I guess. Yeah, so we've got that as our first sort of, not really hurdle, but again, we're trying to jump down every staircase that sort of appears. But if a hole appears, I'm debating whether it's of more prudence to jump down the first staircase that appears, or hold out and see if a hole appears, rather than just using the staircase. I think that it's almost a little counterintuitive, because you are going to kind of stuff yourself a little bit by theoretically potentially wasting time trying to get further down, but I don't know whether that is the case or not. So I am inanely curious on that one, what it is and what would work best. I am going to have to really have a good think and see on that one, I'm afraid. It's going to be a quandary. But for now, I am going to jump down the staircases that present themselves, because of course I want to get further down in here as swiftly as is possible. In all honesty, I think I want to get out of here as quickly as possible. That's a nice big selection there. Now I'm going to detonate that large area of rocks, so we've got a passageway down. Just because there's a saturation of stuff that I want. Oh, an amethyst, I'll grab that. And I am still aware that I am potentially erring on the... not really erring on the side of, but I am potentially risking it a little with my general behaviour, in that I could screw myself over ever so slightly. So let's see what we can do here. Nope. Okay, we've got lots of rock again. We're going to just blast those apart. So we've got a staircase down and some more stone, so I don't care. So doing that, I think, is probably the best way of looking for stuff, I guess. I'm not sure, however, what might work out as a particularly good plan of action. Really? Because again, I'm looking for the easiest way down, and I've not seen anything sort of like present itself as a particularly obvious. I mean, we've been in the mine, Skull Caves, for about 4 hours. And we've got to floor 28, so that's not awful. Okay, so we've got 3 holes. Yeah, eeny, meeny, miny, that one. Let's jump down. I mean, I've not seen that happen for a while. They're getting that many, so that's kind of cool. What other stuff can we look for whilst we're kind of hoping on this one? Hopefully something good. Okay, so we're going to murderize the slime just for a little bit of health, because, again, that is a big thing that I know I'm going to have to deal with as a sort of a curiosity that I know I'm going to end up, like, mangling myself doing something incredibly dense, because I will do, because this is just how I work. I'm an idiot and I'm aware of it. Right, so we're going to head on down a bit further, and 35 now. We're still, again, it's only 20 past 9, so we're doing okay speed wise, and I think maybe the Lucky Lunch and the what's it called? The ginger ale is going to be the best way of getting around and about here. So perhaps that's going to be the future of my mining expeditions. And that'll probably be the best thing for me. Okay, the area is infested. So this would be a floor that I would definitely just use a staircase. Because this is going to waste time. Just hands down. There's no ifs and or buts about it. This sort of floor eats my time and is a detriment to my adventuring in here. yes, it's nice to get resources, and yes, it's good to heal up off of things. But at the same time, if I also start carrying food items that are health restorative but not stat boost giving, because those ones will just, well, as the name suggests, they'll just give me health and not give me a bonus ability or stat, which will cause, maybe not shenaniganry, but it will cause some issues by, I'm trying to think of the best way of describing it. It's just being able to heal myself without accidentally giving myself a stat boost that I don't want. And therefore replacing, for example, the luck, which I do want. Okay, so we kill this thing and we've got our way down. So we wasted like a good hour doing that in game time, at least. I mean, goodness gracious, if I wasted an hour in real life doing a single floor in a dungeon, good grief, that would be atrocious. Right, I might have probably done that actually when I've been playing things like Diablo. like Diablo 2 and going my way through all of that. I definitely wasted lots and lots of time playing through that game. Maybe that's something I should actually look into doing. I mean, that'd be kind of cute to actually do as a playthrough again. Actually, some Diablo. Because I love Diablo. It was a good fun game. Anyway. So we're going to slap that. We're going to smack that a bit. And, well, I'm going to eat a mushroom. Just because eating a mushroom is probably a good shout for now. It'll give me a good bonus in health right now. And I guess that's one of the other things. It's why it's so useful to take that foraging bonus. Being able to see them on a map is good and all. But I think always harvesting iridium quality just makes your adventuring very easy if you've got the option to eat and grab things. Okay, so we're looking at 10 past 12 right now. We've been in here a little while. Obviously, we did have to stop almost by dealing with that floor where all the shenanigans of a couple of infested floors. Ooh, quality sprinklers. I think we're probably going to have to head back home round about now, though. But I think that does prove the benefit of a high luck stat when it comes to adventuring here in the Skull Caves. Now, of course, I've gathered a lot of Omnigeodes, which again are very useful because I need them for the turban that I want another of. And yeah, it's done quite well for me, actually. It's really showcased the advantage of a higher luck stat. I think I should check and see what the actual background luck of the day is before I do it, because if I can get maximum luck on the day and also end up with like this massive +6, that's some good stuff right there. But we're going to start heading back to the home, I think, and start getting ready for all of that. So thank you very much for tuning in. A big thank you to my Patreons who support me, and believe me, I feel very blessed that you want to throw money at me. Believe me, it's a real nice thing. Currently, we've only got the naming rights tier at the moment, because that is the base level that I'm looking at, is being able to say, I'll name animals after you. And that's kind of going to be how this is going to go, I think, for now. But please do like, share, and subscribe. They all do really help me out. And, of course, I always do read all your comments and always try and respond to them. I'm glad to see them when they come in. So hopefully I will catch you all again the next time the Walrus plays Stardew Valley.